I'm always bad with like, a bunch of names at once, but so for my left on my screen it's Chris, Jesse, Mark, and Aaron.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, awesome. Good.
I'm the newbie in the back.
Not a bad place to be.
I heard it helps them
in
use a Sharpie.
in the crypto field kind of hurting right now. Like if you have the intuition and the gut instinct of like this is just temporary, you're fine. But like just like looking at your portfolio or like looking at your client stats, it's got to hurt a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to talk about that today.
All right.
I think it's on everybody's mind right now.
Oh yeah.
And you know, something that once we get a few people in the room, I definitely want to talk about AIOMiner. So I'm very interested in that, and I know you're anxious to tell us about it too. So, all right, let's wait for a couple minutes, and we'll get a few folks in.
All right. And I think I didn't have my headphones in the entire time, but when I got here, I got into the part where someone was like, "Oh man, we're making this guy work on a Saturday," and like, it's trust me, it's all good. It actually never stops. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing something else. So it's
good. Good. Yeah, you
Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Of course, but it's my pleasure, man. Don't mention it. Thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, it's going. So you said a couple guys from AIOMiner may join in watching. Is how many guys do you think are gonna show up?
I think probably at least two.
Okay.
We're gonna have our CEO, even though he expresses it as just a he's a pretty cool dude, and he's like the glue that kind of keeps everything together. His name is Shane, our curator, and then we also have B-Rob, which is our lead dev, and I say that AIOMiner is actually his baby. So like he works hard on it every single day, and yeah, that dude is amazing as well.
Great.
What's AIOMiner.com, right?
Yeah, it's .com, isn't it?
Yep, it's AIOMiner.com.
I have a miner that's down, so I'll go ahead and load it and give it a shot. Or do I have to register?
So you don't have to register, but registering will a lot. Like we're in the works. You know, it's nowhere near the final complete product that we do want. Right now, we're taking a step-by-step approach. And a lot of people are turned off by the appearance of AIOMiner once when you open it compared to others in the market, like NiceHash, AwesomeMiner. The UI is like very easy to use. We're taking more of the approach of we want as much functionality there as possible, and then after that, once we have a really good product, then focus on how it looks. And I think I really like that approach.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Are you posting the link in the description?
In fact, we just started.
No, but
we actually just released AIOMiner 8.2, and I'm gonna go there.
I can do that.
The release notes for that. I'm just gonna read off some release notes. Actually, we can do that in a little bit. But just as a summary, we're going to have GPU details in your front panel that's going to show you stuff like fan speed, the temperature, the utilization of your GPU at that point in time. We just started email alerts system. So whenever you start mining, stop mining, your miner restarts, or your rig restarts, we have a function in AIOMiner where if you're, if like say the miner that you're using starts lagging, or it stops, or you stop getting communication from the server that you're mining from, it'll automatically restart the entire program. So it's pretty cool. Instead of having just like a frozen mining box, you know, like the dialog boxes, the command box, this kind of stuff there.
That's really cool, man. So for the couple people that have already joined the stream, we're just kind of doing a little chit chat right now. We're getting letting a few minutes go by, and hopefully notifications go out, and some people start to join us. As soon as we get a few people in the room, we'll actually officially get started. Right now, it's just kind of light talk.
Okay, cool. All right, that takes a little bit of the load off my here.
So, what was it, AMR?
AIOMiner.com. Right there. AIOMiner.com. It says, "High five. Install is complete. Would you like to run AIOMiner?" So, yes.
Yeah, Bureau's awesome. He'll put in like a bunch of cool messages instead of like the boring ones that you get that are like, oh, download complete. He'll put some stuff there.
That's what I like about Discord.
Yeah, that one right there.
Discord always has something funny.
Yeah,
the messages, the bot messages, and all that stuff. It's always something good, right?
Money is about to be made.
Yeah.
Did you download it?
I'm downloading it right now on my computer.
Oh. On your computer. Well, this is my computer.
Yeah. Are you going to add cell phone mining, like Electronium?
Oh man, that's probably a good ways away. We're just focused on computer mining right now. I think.
Phase 90.
I think that the Electronium mining market's already pretty tapped at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, I'm new to mining, or I got this.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of exploration that you need to do when you log into the AIOMiner for the first time because you don't know where everything is. A lot of people are like, well, what the hell? We're used to using NiceHash to where like you just you know, it's like a couple clicks and it's like, well, we're gonna get there. But that's just there to like guide you in case you need it.
Okay.
But I bet it is geared for, you know, you've got your entry level that, you know, just needs a few buttons and a walkthrough wizard installation process versus kind of the more configuration, you know, laden folks that like to kind of configure everything, fine tune it, and then.
Exactly. AIOMiner is for we're trying to make it to where every competency level can use that miner. From your beginners who just want to log in, mine the most profitable coin, you can do that. We have a series of coins on there that aren't on any other miner, as far as I know. So we've got that going for us, and AIOMiner has a function already or a feature already that no other miner does right now, and you can actually go in under pool settings. You can click add a pool, and then you can add any coin on, I think it's like 80 plus supported algorithms. It's pretty crazy. So you can basically mine any coin you want, don't have to download any new miners. You just have to open up AIOMiner, configure your coin, like add your coin, configure the pool settings like you would normally, and boom, you start mining.
Okay. And it pays out in either BTC or that crypto that you're mining, or
so the BTC, the transfer to BTC is yet to come. Right now, you're basically mining the coin that you want. So like speculative miners, they're gonna love AIOMiner.
Yeah, that's awesome. Been waiting for that feature to land, and here it is. Here it is.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's good to see.
So mine says Zcash or Ethereum. So do you plan on adding more? It says Zcash or Ethereum.
Did you just click the basic
I'm new to mining
tutorial?
Yeah. Is this something you can click on and it'll sort of create a wallet for you, or?
I don't think it'll create a wallet for me or for you, but I believe so. If you click the tutorial, more than likely you don't know many cryptocurrencies to mine. Like most people just firing up their rigs don't know about cryptocurrency. They're gonna go in and be like, "Ooh, Ethereum, Zcash, they might not even know of those. So it's a good place to start. But if you get to the AI miner itself and like you bypass the tutorial, then you can go in and select. I think right now we have like 20 coins. We were the first people to support a couple of the forks recently. Like Bitcoin Z a couple of days ago forked, and the first day it was super profitable. I was asleep, I missed that train, but yeah, they ended up forking like 3 p.m. Central, or 3 a.m. Central. So I'm sure you guys are probably asleep by then. During a weeknight especially. We actually ended up creating their miner for themselves. So not only do we have all these miners, but we have different cryptocurrencies coming to us and being like, hey, we're forking, we need a miner ready to go for the fork so people can download it and be able to mine our coin right away. And that's
very cool.
Awesome.
So Hamza, Bobby is on the stream. He said, pick one. Next window will give you
The Jack's wallet.
Yeah, get a wallet. Yep.
That's
okay,
awesome.
cool.
That's awesome.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. I'm glad you're here.
All right.
All right.
So
I'll be sure to stay on this chat as well.
Okay. So we've already been talking for a little while, but I'll go ahead and start us off officially now. If you guys haven't seen one of the three fat white guys streams before, I'm Chris, this is Mark, Aaron, and we have Dennis in the background, and Dennis is new to cryptocurrency, and I thought this would be a perfect time for him and others that are interested in cryptocurrency to listen in on, how to mine with AIOMiner, as we talk about cryptocurrency and the current state of the market and all the other stuff we might get into. But we are joined today by Hamza with AIOMiner, and you are, I'll let you talk about yourself, sir, but just a quick pedigree. Hamza is a degreed mechanical engineer of University of North Texas. He is a researcher currently at UNT Smart Materials Lab with focus on energy harvesting systems, which I really want to hear about personally, especially as it relates to cryptocurrency and renewable energy and stuff like that, which I think is huge. He's the owner of a local tutoring business, and I took just a moment to look you up. That's mathematics, correct?
The mathematicians.
Okay, great. So I hope you tell us a little bit about that as well. And you are director of marketing and with AIO Inc., which are the creators of AIOMiner. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
If you'd like to introduce yourself and kind of elaborate on my little intro there, that'd be great.
Okay, so to kind of keep it short, I've always been interested in technology, and I've always had a knack for math and physics, so kind of putting them all together, there was no other field that I could go into besides engineering. I see like a heavy need for improvement in a lot of energy sectors, so I chose the mechanical and energy program at UNT. And so right now on my research side of things, my focus is on energy harvesting systems, and there's a configuration that's never been done in piezoelectric-based ceramic wind energy harvesting systems. So quick rundown, piezoelectric ceramic is basically a material that it's kind of like a thin bendable wafer. So it's just like a rectangle. You can bend it, and then as soon as you do bend it, it's called axial flexure. The bend causes the particles that are inside, or the atoms that are inside the ceramic, to get closer and further. And when we play off of that, and you can make that happen repeatedly, it creates a charge, it creates a current. And I'm combining that with wind energy. My configuration is basically an add-on to turbines, and that'll allow us to, instead of creating another circuit from the main line that is coming from the gigantic turbine, the gigantic turbine will be able to rotate something else that causes the actual axial flexure on the piezoelectric ceramic, and then we'll be able to use that energy to power sensors, actuators, etc.
Oh, very nice, man. I volunteer for that testing on my property as well. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, very cool. So can you tell us a little bit more? So let's say we're completely new to AIOMiner. We know absolutely nothing about it. Can you kind of take us from we just landed on the webpage and what it is,
right.
what it does, and all that?
Okay, Bobby is gonna. Oh man, I'm gonna get some crap from Bobby for maybe butchering this, but all right, here we go. So we're gonna go to AIOMiner.com, and that's exactly spelled how it sounds, AIOMiner.com, and then right at the top you can click download today, and it'll start the download for you. I don't think the download takes too long because it's just an installer. Once you run the installer, you'll be able to start downloading it. One really cool thing about it is, I don't know if you guys have ran into this problem, but so if you download a certain miner, a certain wallet, Windows Defender is going to be like, hey, guess what? We've got rid of the files that you need to run your wallet or your miner, and that's very frustrating for me. AIOMiner right now is the only miner that allows you, or that is completely whitelisted by Windows. So you download AIOMiner, it'll download all your miners for you, and you don't have to worry about Windows Defender giving you some crap and like having to go in there and play with it and click allowable and like go under currency and then like remove that from there.
Very nice.
So after you download it and you start the installation process, it's going to install all the miners that you need to be ran with the software, and then you have the option of going into either, hey, I'm a noob, or hey, I got this. If you go the noob route, it'll help you, as you spoke about earlier, set up a wallet for like Zcash or Ethereum, kind of guide you through how to mine one of those cryptocurrencies. Once you learn that, it's easier to kind of go to the other cryptocurrencies and start mining those. So you can go through the basic one, or you can just go to AI, the advanced one. Click the advanced button and it'll take you right to AIOMiner. And so once you do that, you will get to AIOMiner, and then you can go on the top left. I don't have it in front of me right now because I'm using my on-the-road computer. I'm actually not at my place at the moment. But from memory, at the top left, there's a file where you can go into update settings. You can click start on boot, which will start AIOMiner on boot. You can do, it has a feature of where it will automatically enter your password for you. So if you have like a password on your computer, or you don't know how to get rid of that for your mining computer, it'll enter it for you.
Super nice. Yeah, that's very neat.
And then
Time to mine.
Time mining, okay, yeah, that's one of the features I was going to get into a little bit later, but time mining is amazing. So right now, electric companies are starting to get pissed off at cryptocurrency miners because they're taking a lot of their electricity, and so they're starting to install certain rates, like variable rates throughout the day. So like when basically the sun's out, everybody's using electricity, they're going to charge you more if you go over like a certain amount of kilowatt hour to run it. So if you want to bypass that, you can basically schedule your mining, and you can set it up to like Monday through Sunday, and say, okay, Monday I want to mine these hours, I don't want to mine these hours. That's really and we tested it and it works.
I actually ran into that. We had I had the energy guys coming through. They were upgrading our neighborhood, the lines and everything, and was talking to him out in the front yard, and that's exactly what he said. The ISP guys came in and said, you know, they're working on my connection to my home, and said, well, how many of these houses do you come in where you see rigs like this? And he said, it's happening more and more, and we come in and work on it. And energy guys were sitting there going, you know, kind of scoffing at the site, saying, yeah, this is all going to cause some change. And I thought, okay, let me probe him a little bit. And it's like, well, what do you mean? What kind of change? And he said, well, we're already writing things in terms and conditions to where, you know, if they see that you're using so much energy, they know what you're doing, and they're going to start changing their terms and conditions to kind of tier that, or basically them. dip their toes in the till, if you will, to make us pay that extra $1 for what we're doing. But you know,
that is slightly frustrating because it's just, hey, I'm just using electricity like anyone else. If I use more, I'm paying you more. What's the problem? You know, you are an electric company after all.
But at the same time, that it can also swing to this alternative energy, that we all need to start looking into, and creating our own energy, if you will, and that would, if more and more people start doing that, then they're gonna generate less revenue from these quote unquote tiered rates, and who knows what that'll change.
Yeah, well, knowing these big corporations, big companies, they'll probably find a way to add a surcharge. Oh, you added a wind turbine. We got to take this much of your money.
Right.
Well, before we get, I'm definitely interested in this alternative energy, but before we get too far into it, if we can kind of go back to AIOMiner, and
yes.
So I'm fairly new to it. I actually downloaded it for the first time myself. I don't know, 2 days ago. I thought it was, just my personal thoughts on it. It was very intuitive. It was very user friendly, and I would consider myself kind of an advanced user. But with that said, it was very, very simple, and if I can imagine that if maybe I didn't have a lot of technical knowledge, that I would still be able to navigate the software, which I really liked. I got through the benchmark process and all that, but I don't mean to take over, but please carry on.
I don't know. No, it gives me time to think about what you're asking me for. So please, please, I don't mind at all. Going back to AIOMiner, I think the hardest thing people have trouble with is going into benchmark and clicking benchmark. So we already have, once you click benchmark, there's going to be, it's going to open up a new screen, and then you'll have ETH hash, Equihash. We used to have Kryptonite. We actually took Kryptonite off. We have Kryptonite V7 and Kryptonite Lite on there, but we're all about GPU miners and supporting, restoring the ASIC resistance, if you were, or if you will, and yeah, so we actually, that was their newest feature in the last one. We took out Kryptonite and put the Z hash in its place, which is the ASIC resistant Equihash that Bitcoin Z has already switched to, and I believe at least one other. I think SafeCoin recently did that. Yeah, and that was in the past week. So I'm really excited about these cryptocurrencies. It's like, hey, this whole thing started out of stopping centralization. And now we have these companies that, supposedly said, hey, we're about centralization, but we're not going to fork because obviously, well, not obviously, but, let me just say this. There are rumors that Bitmain is working with these companies and writing them a fat check to be able to make ASIC miners for their coin, and so they don't fork to make it ASIC. So going back to the panel itself, you can click benchmark. It'll benchmark your entire rig. Before you do that, though, actually, you go to review my cards and make sure all your cards are added. It'll be a drop down, so it'll start off with GPU 0. You can click whether you only want the AMD cards ran or whether you only want the NVIDIA cards ran. There's little tick mark boxes on both of those, and you can go in there, and once you pick AMD, NVIDIA, or both, you can then go into GPU 0, GPU 1, GPU 2, GPU 3. It's like, you click it, it'll do a little drop down, and you can click it, go to that GPU, and then you save it, and after you do all that for all the cards that you want, it basically allows you to mine with the cards you want and not all the cards in your system, in case you want to use one specifically for gaming, etc., etc. And then once you do that, you go back to benchmark, and the benchmark, it'll take about 180 seconds, I believe, for each algorithm. And that's one really cool feature as well, because I know if you go into NiceHash, they will, even though it's the same algo, it mines different coins, and even though it's the same algo, it'll make you mine that again for whatever reason. I never understood that. But AIOMiner is like, yep, okay, we got every coin on this algo is going to hash exactly the same. So what's the point of doing that multiple times? And so you do that for the ones you want. As soon as you do, you can mine any coin under that algo, and then you can actually go into on the bottom right corner all the non-common ones. So non-common ones, I'm talking about stuff like before we had to port away from the ASICs, we had ones like Lyra 2 Rev, Lyra 2 Z, we had Skunk Hash, Skyne, NeoScript, etc. And you can go in there and benchmark for those as well. Once you're done benchmarking, you can then go into pool settings, go into pool. You can either go into I think right now it's like at least 20 to 30 coins, if not more. Bobby, please don't kill me for saying the wrong numbers. And you can, if you don't want one of those and you want to add a new coin on an algo that we already support, which is basically all of them, you can go in, click it, and add that coin, add the pool that you want, and put in your wallet address, password if the pool asks for it, and you click primary pool on the bottom right, and boom, you're done. You can click add coin, and then once you go back to your main screen on the coins that you're able to mine, you just select it and you just press the start button on the AIOMiner. And yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to keep this off of your face. I just downloaded the latest version, and the version that I downloaded, I guess 3 days ago, was an older version. So interface looks pretty nice, guys.
Yeah.
Very, very good job. That looks really good. So I don't know if you can see that, Hamza, but okay.
Let me just maximize the screen. Oh yeah. Oh, nice. You changed it up even a little bit more than when we saw it last. That's really good.
That's it. Detected both cards. I've got a little 1070 and a old 750 Ti, and yeah, picked it right up, and very nice. I can definitely see anybody new to mining, or even somebody that has been in mining a while. This is really, really nice.
Sounds like your benchmark is going to save people the hassle from having to sit there and wait 10-15 minutes on a 6-card rig to start mining with the same exact card in the rig.
Exactly, yeah. It does your entire rig as a whole instead of like each individual card, and saves a lot of time, saves a lot of resources. I definitely agree.
Yeah, and those settings, fan speed, all of that data, which you can kind of glance at, is definitely helpful for those.
I don't know if Shane wants me to talk about this just yet, but I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek into it anyways. We're going to take that one step further and offer mining intelligence through AIOMiner, and that will give you a lot more data of what algos your card is good at, and basically maximizing your profitability, saving your research time, etc.
Well,
yes, Mark. I think Mark has a question.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mark.
Good job. I saw that you had third-party tools on there under the card setting. If you can pull that up.
Oh yeah. So thank you for bringing that up.
Will you put
stuff like the ETH pill? Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So instead of needing to download the ETH pill separately, and I know Windows Defender also, it picks it up as a virus in some cases, which that to me, I saw it and I'm like, you just download this program and your 1080 Ti is now going to hash 55 mega hashes on Ethereum. There's no way. It's got to be a virus. And a couple of YouTubers were just saying the same thing. And then lo and behold, no, these guys are actually just geniuses. Oh God, a girl. Shout out to her. She is amazing. She's taking a bunch of strides for GPU mining as well. So instead of having to download it as a standalone program, AIOMiner has it built in to where you can go into it and enable it, and it'll initialize the pill as soon as you start AIOMiner, so you don't need to worry about starting it every single time that you open your computer or needing to run back to your rig to start it. Yeah, it'll just restart itself. It'll start the ETH pill, and boom, you're ready to go. Just we're all about saving you time and maximizing your profitability and giving you the most options possible.
Wow. So I have a question about that. So I saw what to mine. So are you guys just using API data? How does that work? How does that integration work?
So right now we're using what to mine. Yeah, we are just using API data at the moment, and we're going to take that a little bit further because we know what to mine doesn't always give you the right data. It doesn't always give you all the coins, etc. So we're trying to build it up as well. I think there's it sounds like we're doing it a lot, but like it's one main guy and a couple of people helping him that are actually making this entire thing. And that, I don't know about you guys, that's almost unbelievable to me. Like that this small team is putting out so much stuff that you can't even find in other miners that probably have bigger teams.
Yeah, and what it sounds like almost is that this is going to help. When you say small teams, there's cryptocurrencies out there that are kind of being created by small teams that are getting released, and if that can get integrated in and y'all add new coins all the time.
I'm sorry, you guys are breaking up. I don't know if that's just me.
No, you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. No, if you have more and more coins that you're offering, some of these cryptocurrencies are built by small teams as well, absolutely. And it may take them, say, a couple months to get that recognition to say, hey, I'm a cryptocurrency too, and you guys can mine me, and kind of start that process. But if you can integrate those more cryptocurrencies like that, this seems like a good pairing. Like the software built for these guys to kind of get them out there, and yeah, you don't see them on what to mine for a couple months, but it allows them to kind of dig into that algorithm that you're going to churn through and put them out in the forefront.
Absolutely, yeah. As soon as they drop their coin and it's mineable on the algo, you can go into AIOMiner, which is what we've been doing because we love our product, so of course we use it. As soon as the blockchain is available to mine, the mainnet's on, you can go into pool settings, add that coin under the algo, and boom, you're starting mining.
Excellent. Well, I know you touched on the GPU love, and of course I think everybody who mines definitely appreciates software that can kind of legitimize their investment in that sector. But if you take a sidestep to the FPGA, whereas that's kind of that hybrid where it's a beefed up GPU, if you will, that can switch and yet has a little bit extra hashing power on the algorithms. It almost seems like that's something that could coexist with GPU rather than, say, your ASICs, which is just kind of a big behemoth box that's set up on the network to uphold it and basically flood out all the GPU guys. Yeah. So is that something that you guys are embracing long term moving forward, or?
So as of right now, FPGAs are relatively new. Us as a team haven't really gone too much into it, and I think that's because we don't really mine FPGAs, or I don't really mind. I can only speak for myself at this moment. So let me just make that disclaimer. This is only my opinion. This does not represent the opinions of anybody on the AIOMiner team. So for me, FPGAs, like you said, are just beefed up GPUs. They might get a little bit better hash, maybe a little bit more efficient, but I think the cost also is a little bit higher for those. Compared to GPUs at the moment. Whereas, again, I have to reiterate, this is just my opinion and not of anyone on the AIOMiner team. I don't like ASICs only because I've never bought one, so I can't speak for myself, but I've been in the market for a while, and I've been seeing everybody that does buy ASICs, besides the big guys who fill up an entire warehouse full of them, start mining, and then they know when to sell it, and they sell it on stuff like Craigslist or on eBay to smaller guys like us after they're done mining on it, similarly to what Bitmain's allegedly doing. They'll make their miners, and yeah. So like, have you guys noticed this? Right before the release date of E3 or Z3, like the couple months leading up to it, there's like a massive spike in the network hash rate every single time.
It's very obvious. So
it's very obvious. Okay, and then so like if it's very obvious, how did the main guy of okay, never mind. I don't want to target anyone out, but it was slightly disheartening to see there was an exchange between Zuko of Zcash and the Bitmain guy. Apparently they did an interview, and Zuko was like, "Oh yeah," like he asked the Bitmain guy, "Hey, do you guys mine on these before you release them to the public?" And the Bitmain guy was like, "Oh no, we don't." And then Zuko's like, "Well, guys, he told us he doesn't, so obviously, you know, I don't see any reason not to believe him, right?" Yeah. And then they also ended up not working, but.
Yeah. R&D is not actual mining. It's just research that we're doing internally.
Yeah. It's for warranty testing, right? Like we mined on it for a couple months, so it'll at least run for that couple months once we sell it to you guys.
Yeah. So Electronium is a good example. I don't know if you keep up with the coin, but I don't know, a month, maybe 5 weeks before, maybe about a month, maybe 3 weeks. Before the miner came out from Bitmain, all of a sudden the hash rate started going up, and it got to over 1 gigahash. And and then that was before the ship date. Mm-hmm. So you know what they're doing, right?
Yeah,
we're not stupid.
Wait till the first batch ships,
so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So continue my personal opinionated tirade. As soon as they get released, you know, within a couple months to like a year max, all these people that aren't, you know, these big whales that are buying in bulk from Bitmain, they'll basically, I think the term used in the crypto field or the crypto mining realm right now is door stoppers. You know, they just they're worth nothing. You actually are making like $1 or $2 a day on something you spent up to like a 2 to 3 grand on, and you know people get pissed. Just like one of the things for that, a prime example is like the V3 miner. It was $650. It was released a couple months ago. I think Biden actually wanted a miner created for their cryptocurrency, so they could prevent 51% attacks, which I guess is one good excuse for ASICs being okay, but you can do the same thing with GPUs. So yeah, you know, it just goes back to that. So yeah, so they sold these miners to the people. I think it was like $650 was the minimum price tag on it, and you got around like 600 hash on it. And then within 2 months, somebody ported the mining algorithm into NVIDIA mining. NVIDIA GPU card mineable miner, and then you can get the same hash from like say I want to say a 1070 Ti can give you the same exact hash that an ASIC can at a much lower electric usage. Yeah, so yeah, it's everything. Yeah, it's all.
To their credit, they're a little bit more than a doorstop. They're a nice foot warmer in the wintertime for grandma. So you know, they always have that use.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to tell us about AIOMiner?
So yeah, AIOMiner, download it today. We ourselves don't take any fees. If you want to and you want to support us, we allow you to donate to us right now. We also recently started AIO Pool, to where we have coins that aren't already you know, mammoths in the cryptocurrency field. And for the pool itself, also right now the server load is like really low, and we actually just started this up last week. So it's 0% pool fees as well. So AIOMiner is all about being community driven, giving to the community. The software itself doesn't take any of your fees, and the pools itself, but the pools don't take any of your fees either. We got that going, and let me go back to the 8.2 release notes. Okay, so I don't know the last time you opened it up, Chris, but so I see you see the new UI. It's pretty cool. We're probably gonna keep working on it and improving it, but to me it looks amazing already.
Oh yeah, it does.
We might do like a new friendly UI in the future, but that's not our priority. Like we said, the functionality and the features are our priority, and like giving you guys the most ability with AIOMiner. So we already talked a little bit about the GPU details in front of the miner with the speed fan, or the fan speeds, the temperature, and the utilization of each individual GPU. And I think, so right now, and on NVIDIA rigs, you actually get to see at that point in time, some people have to buy that like smart plug-in into the wall to tell you how much power your rig is using. Right now, AIOMiner already tells you that for NVIDIA rigs, and we have the estimate for AMD rigs. That's something we're working on as well. We talked about timed mining. We talked about the email alerts. And then, okay, so pool settings. If you have a coin selected in coin to mine, it will default to that coin's pool because chances are high you want to edit that coin's mining. Basically, like puts a star next to it, and excuse me, it has it at the top of the list for you. So yeah, you're able to edit that right away. Little easy. We're also starting a Wikipedia for on the AIOMiner website. It's wiki.aiominer.com, and that allows you to go in, find out about different coins, all the news that's going up there. That's in the works. It's not completely built up all the way, but I think that's a really cool thing to do, because in the cryptocurrency realm, man, when I got into it, it was almost torture learning everything that had to go into it, and we had to learn little by little of what to do. So you'll be able to go in there. It's like, hey, what are common pools I can use? Hey, how do I download the wallet for this coin? And we're trying to do that for every single coin, and then we'll try to expand from there, from just mining to cryptocurrency in general. So just kind of having like a one-stop shop of like, I don't need to go Google and research and see if this works for me, see if this doesn't work for me. You just go to wiki.aiominer.com, and everything's right there for you, and very accessible, very easy.
Cool.
And then we also have the option to purge all your miners right now. So if you want to just like remove all your settings because you've been a really speculative miner in like the past month, and you go in and you like add every coin mine on it for a couple hours. There's a couple weeks where I did that. I was like, I'll try this coin, I'll try this coin, I'll try this coin. Well, I didn't really know how to judge cryptocurrencies that are being launched by myself. Reading the white paper, looking at the team. Those are very, very important things to do when you're trying to get behind a new project and like see if it'll be a good speculative coin to mine, where you mine a bunch right now, it's not worth anything. As opposed to later, it is worth something, but now everybody knows about it, and you're not getting that much. Kind of like investing, but with mine. But you guys are used to that.
Real way to mine.
And then, oh yeah, so you can now donate directly to AIOMiner, to the AIOMiner team. It'll help us hire more people to be able to make the miner better for you. It'll allow us to basically make it better for you. And then we added in the support for the AMD Lyra 2 Rev 2 miner. I know a lot of people were disheartened that, hey, this is like another NVIDIA only algorithm. Great, so we added that in there for you. And it auto-generates the configuration file for you. It's not completely optimized as it's new. Over time it will be, but right now you get about 35 to 40 mega hashes for a 480, which is, it's a big step in the right direction. Some bugs and fixes we did recently, before you weren't able to do like a stratum or HTTPS in the name, you can do that now. And when you check for new miners, you don't have to like re-download it. That's one of the great things about AIOMiner as well. It automatically updates for you if you choose it to. So, right on startup, it'll download the newest miner for you. So that's a good bit there. And if you want to talk about something really quick, I'm going to go into a couple of the old posts that I made when we first shared AIOMiner with the good people of Reddit, amazing website. And
Yeah.
I'll talk
Yeah,
about that in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So just one quick question. And this may be getting ahead of ourselves here, but what does the future hold for AIOMiner? What are you guys looking to, accomplish 6 months down the road?
6 months is such a long time in the cryptocurrency realm, and I'm sure you guys will
Right.
agree.
That's like a 10-year goal for everybody else.
How about the next 1 month?
Yeah, a day here is like a year there. Not to get too nerdy, but it reminds me of the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z.
So, and this may be just a recap, but going back, you have the ability to mine different cryptocurrencies. You're getting paid out in that cryptocurrency that you're mining, which is huge. I'm just going to say that right there. I'm the biggest fan of that feature right there. With the interface that you're releasing, that's easy. It's got the clean dashboard, and then did I also hear that you were going to have the ability to allow the user to tweak the card to its best settings for that algorithm, and then save the settings within there? So as it's switching, it's basically switching the different.
That's something to look at down the road. I don't think I don't think I said anything like that. What I did say, if I remember correctly, you will be able to get the data for the best settings for that algo. So this guy has his core, his memory at these levels, basically at this power level, and he's getting the best hash out of everyone else mining. So we'll be able to share that with everyone so they can get the best hash.
Apologize for that. Thanks for clarifying.
Oh no worries. Really, that's really cool though. Maybe you just gave B-Rob an idea. I know he's watching right now.
Well, hey, glad to help out. It's a community, so.
Oh, okay. So I'm kind of just going to summarize the first major marketing campaign that we did at AIOMiner on Reddit. So we first held like a recent public survey from the people, like for people that are not people that are already using AIOMiner, but we made a public survey on the Reddit GPU mining subreddit where we asked, hey, if you've used AIOMiner, please take this survey. It's open, and so it was completely public. And AIOMiner was actually rated 9 out of 10, which is we're super excited about. We're really happy about. Averaged across all survey results. So it's not like those Gomer toothpaste commercials where they ask 10 doctors and they only select the 5. They're like, well, 4 out of 5 of these guys recommend this for you. It's like, no, literally every single survey result, the average of that was 9 out of 10, and that's phenomenal to me. It tells us that people really like our product. The people that have given our product a chance, they love it. What kind of sets us apart? So the software itself doesn't take any of your fees, which I don't think there's any program like that on the market right now. I don't know if you guys have heard of one. But we don't take any fees. The miners that have been developed already, the dev fees go to them, just like if you were an CC miner, that dev fee goes to the CC miner. It's the only community-driven mining software. I know a lot of people get input, but we have. Please, I implore you to join our Discord. We have an amazing community on there. Everybody's talking. You can join the alpha tester team if you want, so you get to see these features before anybody else gets to see them. Kind of work with the team, and it's truly community driven. The other guys will take the input. Anyways, yeah. So we got our roots from the GPU mining subreddit. Shane and B-Rob and B-Rob Senior kind of found each other, and they're like, hey, you know what this community is lacking? Something that's made for the community. So it's pretty cool.
That's a good point.
We have profit switching. Other miners have that as well. So nothing special, but that feature is there if that is your deciding factor. It comes preloaded with more coins to mine than any other miner. and you can add coin from. It was 40 plus supported algorithms at the time that I posted that, but it's got to be a lot more by now. And a couple clicks of a button. It's pretty cool. It's whitelisted by Windows, so I already mentioned that. That's really cool. Auto crash recovery is built in, so no downtime on your rigs. That's pretty important. Automatic updates, pretty cool. But yeah, just to summarize, we aim to maximize profit and save your time, and I think those are the two most important things in the cryptocurrency field.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Well, I definitely appreciate you going through that.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting me. I feel like I rambled for a couple parts there, especially because I was like, I already talked about this, so I have to just run through it really quick. But thank you.
Okay. So I know something, and if we want to go back to AIOMiner, that's great. But something's kind of been burning in me for the last month and a half. I've wanted to ask you about your research in alternative energy. So we kind of touched on that earlier, but and I know you, because you're a researcher and because you've got to publish a paper. It's not a whole lot that you can talk about. But is there any relation to the research, the work that you're doing now? Can it translate, and will it possibly translate to the mining field?
As far as making more, I'm just going to say a couple of things that kind of will interest people in the cryptocurrency mining field, along with the alternative energy, or basically just saving power so those electric costs are low. On the GPU side, the only thing that makes them more efficient are computer engineers and computer scientists that can, like Oh God, a Girl is doing both, I think, right now. They're able to mod BIOS files for NVIDIA, which I haven't heard of anybody else being able to do. So they can access more of the memory than previously thought, which makes it more efficient. They can, as technology improves with the transistors, you can put more into a smaller box, which makes it more efficient. And really the only thing that kind of nothing I'm doing right now is going to make the cryptocurrency mining more efficient or anything like that. But relating the two, you can definitely have a circuit coming in to your mining rigs, say from a solar panel setup, or say from a wind turbine setup. By the way, to save you some time and some research, I've already done this for you. So wind turbine is definitely the way to go. You can make one for yourself at home. I know here in Texas we pride ourselves a lot on being able to build not so good looking homemade contraptions. So right now you can make a PVC wind turbine for probably less than $100. And I think that should get you somewhere around a half to 1 kilowatt hour at wind speeds. Right now in the summer, I know you guys are feeling it too. The wind isn't the best, but under $100 for a potential a half a kilowatt to a kilowatt of energy, that's pretty good.
That is that's very good.
And I can do this right now. I don't know if you guys will have a chance to invite me back on here again, but if you do, I can kind of bring that up. Bring the literature up, the video, and kind of do like a step-by-step way of how to build that wind turbine for yourself. So you don't worry about these electric companies gouging you or saving money overall. Yeah, you were saying more?
I'm about to drop maybe $1,500, $2,000 to have a second 100 amp line ran to my house because I've maxed out my current circuit. So it'd be interesting to find out.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't have all the literature on me. A lot of it would be me going, so I don't want to do that right now for just the sake of the people on the street.
Hopefully we can collect that and maybe put it down there.
You guys can't have it on here again. I'll deal with that. One second, I believe my laptop is dying right now. I'm going to go ahead and get the charger really quick. I don't know.
Sure thing.
One second.
Yeah, sure. So while he's doing that, let's talk about thoughts of how the market's going right now. Scared?
No.
Happy?
No, not scared.
Excited?
Nah. It's definitely not exciting times,
Yeah.
but you know, it's times that I think we all have to go through. There's ups and downs, and right now it's you know,
Down.
it's down. But at the same time, there's opportunity there while it's down. If you ever wanted to invest, you know, just do your coin, buy some coins.
I bought my lowest 1080 Ti 2 days ago, under $700. So
That's a good point, guys. I like to look at a time like this where a lot of people are getting scared and they're selling their equipment. I always like to look at the inverse and say, well, now's a great time to buy a cheap GPU. Now's a great time to buy some cheap coins. Now's the best time to mine because as those prices are down and the difficulty's lower, you can get more of those coins and hold them. And when we do go back up, there's that much more money on the table for you. So they say you got to put your big boy pants on, but for me, man, this is prime time for cryptocurrency. Even though the price is low and all that.
If big boy means smart pants, then that's the way to go. You got to put them on, and
Yeah.
you got to do your own research. Find your projects that you see, you know, some value being put into, and you know, then don't worry about what it's costing you to mine the coin. Just this is your investment in that project, and you've got machines that are allowing you to make steady, you know, accruements in that. Whereas, you know, anything else right now in the world we live in is just the money you make is invested in. Well, it's the same way with mining. You can keep them running and, you know, keep that crypto building, and then, you know, turn it over when it's best to do so, and go from that perspective. So I agree.
Yep.
I don't think Goldman Sachs would be investing if it was going to keep going down.
That's
So,
right.
I
Yeah,
think- and they bought Poloniex, I think.
I heard
They
about that.
invested in
Yeah.
Poloniex.
So yeah, the wave, the next wave has not hit yet, but it is building in the background. And if you're faint of heart, then you may miss the second coming. I don't want to go biblical, but it's obviously a good opportunity to, you know, stay steadfast. You know, collect some more cards while the going's good, and you know, at this point, you know, even add in an AIOMiner to make everything a lot easy for you, because you know, I think we've all been waiting for this, instead of, you know, having to, you know, go to one miner and then, you know, go to another. You know, this is not to take anything away from the stuff that's out there, but I think everybody wants. We look at ease, and some of the technicals will say, you know, it's easy, so therefore, you know, I want to show my technical skills and have all of these programs in the background, these folders and everything. If everything can come into one, and you can, you know, disperse yourself that way, why it just makes more sense to use a software like that.
So in the IT industry, we have a term. It's called, from a management standpoint, of the management plane, we say single pane of glass. So I can see everything from one user interface. I can do everything I want to. That makes it really valuable for a technician or somebody that's trying to get in, maximize their time, maximize their efficiency.
Right. And if you can do that from the equipment side, and then mold that from the user ability side, if the two get married together, then you've got a recipe for, you know, success just in your own right. You know.
It's funny that you bring that up. It's a funny story about it, actually. So this completely whooshed over my head when I first saw it, and I was like, why is the name AIOMiner.com? We could come up with such a better name, you know, it like doesn't roll off the tongue or anything like that. And then I was brainstorming, and I was like, what else could we call it? And then I stupidly realized that it stands for all-in-one miner, and that's why it's called AIOMiner.
Love it.
It's perfect.
But yeah, so while I was setting my camera up, I heard you guys. I caught the end of it. You guys were talking a little bit about, I think, the cryptocurrency market itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were some points brought up so I can kind of scale that?
Yeah. So I didn't know if you wanted to automatically go back to the energy thing that we were talking about, but yeah. So right now, there's obviously a lot of people. Well, let's just say there's a lot of fear right now. Prices are low. People are selling their equipment. People are getting out of cryptocurrency. You see messages on Discord and Facebook and Twitter. I saw one just this morning that said, "Should I turn my miner off?" I'm so I always try to look at the positive in that, and you know, as I already said this, but now is a good time to buy a cheap graphics card. Now is a time to mine.
Absolutely.
Because the difficulty's lower, the price is low, you can mine more coins in a given period of time. I mean, it's just a good time to be in it. You can buy coins cheap. If you're in it for the long run, this is when you got to stock up.
Absolutely.
So my viewpoint.
There's one after the Bitcoin hit 20K, and then we saw like the decline, and it's still coming down a little bit. But there's a quote I really like, is when there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy. This dip is exactly what is supposed to be there for enough people all the weekends to drop their cryptocurrencies, so the prices can go way down, and then Goldman Sachs and all these other investing companies can come in, buy everything up super cheap, and then boom, the price goes back up and they sell and they make their money. So I completely agree with you there, Chris. It's definitely the time to start looking at when to pull a trigger on buying the cryptocurrencies and start building mining rigs as well. I'm sure you guys have heard the rumors. It's like NVIDIA is going to drop the 1100 series in July. We found that to be false. And then people were like, oh, they only did it because there's some other FUD that people returned like a 300K order of like graphics cards or something. I don't know if you guys saw that recently. And then there's other speculation that AMD is dropping their Navi series, which was their next step of mainstream cards, and it's supposedly 1080 Ti performance at mainstream prices, so around like $400 to $500. And still, all just speculation. For me, I don't believe it when it comes out. I'll look at it then. But this kind of speculation, this kind of these rumors, they always have like allegedly in the title. They come out all the time.
You wonder how many of those are engineered.
Yeah,
though,
yeah, and you've got to know that if you've been in this space for a while and you've been using your equipment to basically make cryptocurrency, put it in your wallet, you've got value there. And if you think, if you're long term, bullish on this, then you let those cards go. Even a new card releasing at maybe a little bit less in price. I mean, we all know that technology tends to do that over time, where we look back and say, oh, if I just waited, that's the whole thing, is that every time you wait, you're not building any wealth behind you. You're just waiting perpetually.
Exactly. Okay. So yeah, like we can run the numbers really quick. So say you buy like a low price GPU today, and people are like, oh, don't buy that yet, the price is going to go down. And it's just like, well, even if the price does go down and that those cards do come out in a couple months, if they do come out in a couple months, and then whether you even get a chance to buy them because they'll like fly off the shelf so quickly, you have already made like $20 to $30 a month in this market. It's been higher. You've been able to make more. It might go a little bit lower. I don't see it going too much lower than this. Right. Although that might be what makes all the weekends drop out even more. It might be the catalyst for the next bull run. Just personal speculation here. But yeah, you're making that $20 to $30 a month, and that usually, in my experience, like I have a brother-in-law. I told him, hey, you should get into cryptocurrency mining, and he's like, oh, I just want to wait, and he'll send me like a link of like say like the Zcash ASIC being released, and then I sent him my invoice order of how much I actually paid for the GPU, how much that GPU's already made me, and how even though I could have waited and done that, I'm already
That's a really good point. That's a really good
already
point.
up a bunch of money.
You just waited to save $150 on that GPU when you look back and you realize that it's made you 3 times more than it's worth, or even more, depending on what you mined and the calls you made. But again, you go back to 2003. You walk into your big box stores and you're looking at a 50-inch plasma for $13,000, and 5 years later you're getting it at, well, we know the prices now. You can get 55 at 1,000. So I mean, who knew that was going to happen? Well, that's kind of the way technology goes. But you don't keep waiting. Otherwise, that's all you're going to perpetually do is wait. And
Absolutely.
But you mentioned the next bull run. I mean, once crypto goes Main Street, which we know that right now we're talking about a 1 to 2% adoption, if not if that. And once this starts getting in the hands of the Main Street, that's when we're going to start seeing just a catalyst for another incline that's going to go higher than I think we've seen in the past. And at that point, where are you at that point?
I think so. I don't think the mainstream use will be the catalyst. I think the bull run itself will happen right before it becomes mainstream, and then prices are too expensive for everybody to get in, and all these whales that have filled up their bags already, they can just sit there and profit.
Right.
And I think don't quote me on this. Also, just personal opinion or gut feeling. I think once we get really close to the adoption phase of being able to put these cryptocurrencies to use, like earlier this year we saw Vitalik going around to every Asian country. There's like pictures of him, like this like skinny looking alien looking guy. He's just standing there with his arms to the side, like. Looking awkward, and next to him is like the Prime Minister of Korea, and like his cabinet, and it's just like, and then on the other side you have people saying, oh, cryptocurrency is going nowhere. It's like, come on, like there's just market manipulation going on. It's very apparent to see, and cryptocurrency is serious.
But stay mining, stay strong.
Stay strong.
Don't worry about the headlines.
Yeah, I think a lot of people got into cryptocurrency mining for the wrong reasons. They just want a paycheck where it should be more of an investment. You should be able to see it from that perspective. Just mine and hold.
I agree. So if I can ask you maybe a personal question, what projects, and again, you can decline to answer this, but what projects, what coins are you, do you kind of have your eye on? Let's not say you're invested into or anything. Obviously, we're not giving any advice here, no financial advice, but what are you interested in?
Okay. So IRS, I don't hold any of these coins myself, so don't look for them. But let me pull up my word file here.
Neither do we, by the way. We're just speculating on all this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just a sideline watcher.
Let's pretend. Pretending.
So something I want to get into eventually, and I'd like to do a video series on it, is actually having a quote-unquote legitimate business in the space, which I've been working on for the last 6 months. I've got, I started up an LLC, so Northeast Texas Technologies is a legitimate business in the state of Texas. Navigating the IRS and the accounting, and you run into it. There are people that are very familiar with it, but for the greatest portion of the accounting professionals that I've ran into, they have no idea. I mean, other than what little guidance the IRS has, there's little information out there for them. So it's been an interesting road for me and guys that are trying to start an actual legitimate business in the space. So anyway, did I run my mouth long enough for you to get, have enough time to get to where you needed to go? I was just trying to verbal vomit long enough for you.
This last segment was brought to you by
Yes.
Saving Time.
Yeah.
Biding time.
Okay. All right. So I have it pulled up. Currencies I've been invested in before. Maybe I changed my mind on them, etc. So I'll just touch each of those a little bit, and then you guys, if you want, please interrupt me at any time, and then or afterwards. And if you want to bring up a cryptocurrency that's kind of well known, I'll probably have a good idea about it, and I can give some personal opinion or commentary on it.
Sure.
So Nebulous. I'm only talking about it first because it's first on my list. Actually no. Okay, so I'll start with one that's not well known and one I'm very bullish about is NPXS, Pundy X. Have you guys heard of that as of yet?
Have not.
No.
Okay, all right. So that was actually, it won the Community Round 7 contest on Binance and was listed right as like the last dip started, the one that we've experienced in the past week. So I think it was Monday that it was listed on Binance, and then before that it was on write this website down, because by the time you get to Binance, it's usually too late. Those coins already have like most of the investors on there. So this website, idex.market, IDEX.market. It's a decentralized exchange based on your Ether wallet. So you just go there, you don't have to create any accounts. You just unlock your wallet and use that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like Ether Delta. It's kind of like that, but with less trapdoors for you to lose your wallet or lose your coins on there. So like it's completely safe as long as you have a way to you basically just would access your wallet on there like you would on my Ether wallet. So but you go on there and most of the coins that aren't that well known have a good team behind them. That's not all of them do, of course, but there's a lot of good coins that I invest in. They'll be on there, and they appear on there first. So IDEX.market, IDEX.market. I found out about this coin on there, NPXS, Pundy space X. So before they even got known, I found out about them, and they have a working product. Most of these cryptocurrencies, it's just like speculation. We're a team, we aim to do this. These guys have already created a product that have a POS transaction system to where you can order one of their POS devices for your store, for you to, I think they're working on kind of like a Squarespace, like you slide your card through it, stuff like that.
Very nice.
Yeah, they have a working product. You can get it ordered to your store and start accepting cryptocurrencies today. And like nobody knows about this project from the sounds of it. And so that is very cool to me. So NPXS, before this dip, I think I was up like 200% on them, and then right now I'm only at like ×2. Hurts.
Oh man, just take the good with the bad, right?
Yeah, no. It's like of course it hurts, but having the insight of the cycles the market goes through, it's just temporary.
Yeah.
I just don't open my portfolio and look at it.
It's easier that way.
What was that?
It's easier that way. Just don't look at it. Just keep your eye. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you start thinking stupid stuff and you make rash decisions. That doesn't turn out well. Because as soon as you sell, it goes back up every single time.
Every time, and you always lose.
You play right in the whale's hands.
the transfer of wealth, going from the impatient to the patient, and it's always the ones that are patient that can sit there and make their mark.
Yeah, you gotta understand these whales. They have entire think tanks, research teams, mass psychology studies to know exactly how we think, how we react to certain news, and it's social engineering to make us drop all our money that we have invested into crypto, take a loss, so they can buy it low.
Or
They're
pull
pretty
plug
good at
their
it.
miners.
They're pretty good. It's working. It almost works on me.
You get caught up if you're alone in the room watching just the news and the headlines, but you know that's what these communities are for. You know, kind of getting in line and talking this out and staying strong in what you decided to do. You know, a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's like no matter like how my like heart starts to beat, like it'll skip a beat. My gut. Listen to your gut. Your gut's usually right.
Right.
All, like 100%, like almost 99.99% of the time. And if not, it's leading you to like a good lesson.
Yeah.
So besides that, oh man, I had my toes dip into like a little bit of everything that I believe there's like a bunch of good cryptocurrencies out there. So Nebulous is a really good one. So Nebulous, I know you guys have heard of Neo, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so Nebulous was actually created by one of the founders of Neo. He wanted to separate himself from Neo because Neo's already doing their thing. And then he saw, hey, we can basically make kind of like a searchable app store for all the different D apps that are going to be on the blockchain. And you know, it's like it got kind of buzzwordy at a point in time, but they got tied to being known as like the Google of the blockchain, or like the App Store of the blockchain. And I don't like to say that because there's like a lot more that goes into it besides that. But Nebulous, they're pretty cool. Let's see. Digibyte is kind of a wild card that I invested just a couple $100 in. I was in the plus before this dip, but you know, I'll stop saying that because it's implied at this point. Let's see. Brave Attention Token is really good. So Brave BAT. You guys know about BAT?
I do not.
No.
Teach us.
Oh, okay. Oh, absolutely. So Brave Attention Token, basically, it takes the middleman out of advertisements online and stream, like, basically any sort of content delivery that would have an exchange of funds or would have a reward for the person streaming or a person on YouTube or people that want to put out ads. Brave Attention Token is kind of like cutting out the middleman there to where you can go like we have two sides. We have a streamer and the audience. So and there'll be ads played in the middle, and then for the ads, if you watch the ads, Brave Attention Token will reward the users for watching the ads. So you know, like right now we watch TV, and you're sitting there, and like I don't know if it feels like it to you, but like every single day, it's like there's more ads than there is show. Like what's going on? And like I'm paying for this cable. Well, like, well, what's up with that? So they're kind of paying. They're taking care of that, so like where you're not compensated for the time and learning about this new product that's being pushed out, and then the streamer is also for delivering content on the platform is also being awarded Brave Attention Token. And then it's not just to that extent; it's also to ads on websites and like you know the possibilities are endless at that point. So Brave Attention Token is a pretty good one. BAT is the acronym. Stellar is a pretty promising one. I don't know if it's going to multiply too much from here, but I do like the project. They have IBM behind them. I know there were talks of them working with a couple of companies in Germany already. So Stellar is pretty cool. XLM. Not to ramble too much, I'll kind of name a bunch of these cryptocurrencies if you guys want me to go into more detail about them. Like if you've heard them, you can. So Enigma is a good one. VeChain is definitely a good one. I know you guys probably heard about VeChain by now. ICX Icon is a good one. Aeon is a good one. Nano. Oh man. So okay, can we take a second to talk about Nano for a second?
Sure.
What? what happened to Nano? I think so. Like there was like the BitGrail hack that was the catalyst because like everybody thought Nano was going to go to like $1,000. You know, that was the speculation. And the BitGrail hack happened, and it went from going like ×2 or ×3 in like a couple of days, and the hack happened, and like it's just been dropping from there. And I think they recently launched a marketing campaign. I don't know if you guys have seen on Reddit. There'll be random posts, and like if you go into the subreddit cryptocurrency, they'll be like, Nano does this now, and it's got like 20 upvotes, and like all the comments are like, Nano is so great. Oh my god, I'm so glad I use Nano. And, yeah, pretty transparent there, guys. Please work on your. Like I'm a holder of Nano, but like please work on your marketing campaign a little bit.
You know, that brings up a good point. It strikes me really, well, it strikes me funny that a lot of these cryptocurrencies, they have like the use case, they could have such a tremendous role or tremendous impact from a technology standpoint, but you know it's just a team of developers with some of those guys, you know, they don't have the same kind of personal, you know, interpersonal relationship type skills as other people, right? So I'm not saying every developer is like that. Bob, I know you're still on the stream, so please don't take that the wrong way. But you know, not everybody's a salesman. So
that makes it like infinitely more important to be able
correct.
to
Yeah.
go in and look at like do your own research. DYOR is a big acronym, and it's like really important to be going into and reading the white paper yourself, looking at the development team, kind of like looking at their background. It's like, okay, these guys are gonna do something big, and like I don't know about you guys, but I'm very happy when they haven't marketed as much or have talked about their cryptocurrency as much, where it's not as well known, because that means you're still getting it on the ground floor, and your profits are going to be even bigger there.
They're pushing more money into making their dream or their white paper mentions, you know, into an actual product, rather than, hey, let's put in a good word, let's put it on a little pretty paper, and let's market the heck out of it, and build some steam, and then once we are sitting where we want to sit, you know, well, we'll take the extra time that we need to maybe right a few wrongs in the past before we, you know, start this project up. And it's what everybody thinks happens at this point, when we just went through the whole, you know, ICO craze. Is, you know, every great idea that you could have ever thought, you know, had a brand behind it, and it was like you say, it's those ones that, wait, I never heard about this, you know, where did they come from, you know? And then you go back and you're like, wow, I mean, this white paper is just as amazing as the one that I put a few $100s in and have watched, you know, killer marketing videos on, but yet I just don't see anything happening. So
right, yeah, because those guys already got happy because their pockets are already fat, so they have less incentive, you know, to create a better product that goes from there. Speaking of which, Callisto, I want to shine a spotlight on Callisto. They are amazing. Okay, so Callisto, you can find their website on callisto.explorer. Let me confirm that for you.
Okay.
Doesn't look like that's it. I think it was Callisto.network. Yes, okay, so it was Callisto.network. So these guys are really cool. You open their website, and it's okay, you know, it could be a little better. You go for the devs, and it's like a bunch of different looking nerdy guys. A couple of them have like those animated pictures for themselves, so it doesn't look the most official. But their lead developer, he's actually uses a pseudonym. Nobody knows his actual identity, but he was on the Ethereum Commonwealth, which is a team for Ethereum Classic that didn't like the way Ethereum was going, and like stuck with Ethereum Classic. And then he made a new coin. Basically, he's talking about smart contract ecosystem security, and then being able to audit those smart contracts, help with the scaling of the Ethereum Classic network, and basically any coin right now on the Ethereum network or the ePash algo, and then protocol level enhancements as well. So some very deep stuff. You have to be a programmer to understand all of it. A little bit of it, admittedly, does go over my head as well. But Dexran, he's well known in the community to deliver, and he just started the mainnet project, I think, a couple of months back, and like still nobody knows about it. It's a really good project.
Awesome.
So any other projects that you're interested in right now, or?
Omisago is a well-known one. Ontology is a really well-known one now from like the amazing bull run that they got. EOS, they've been getting a lot of shtick lately. I'm not exactly a backer, but I did buy a little bit of it because I saw the publicity they were getting. The name was really good, their branding was really good, so it's more for me an investing standpoint. And I think, yeah, they did a couple of things that were like kind of a little sketchy, so a lot of people are selling their EOS right now. And I would too, but hey, I'm a holder. I'm not going to sell until my portfolio matures, so to speak.
Yeah, that's you and I are in the same boat. I'm one of those. I hate saying that term, but hodl guys. I'm definitely a holder. For me, it's almost counterintuitive to mine it and sell it immediately. I mean, I know a lot of guys do that, and that's extra income. Just my whole thing with the cryptocurrency space is I'm truly looking at this like an investment. So if I'm thinking of it like an investment, let's put it in very simple terms here. You have a job, you have a 401k, some kind of a retirement account, IRA, something like that. The IRS doesn't even let you take out till you hit a certain age, right? So without extra tax penalty. So if you keep that long-term mentality about it, you let the coins appreciate, and you're going to come out a lot farther ahead a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road than you are if you just mine it and sell it.
You can either collect your paycheck, as you were mentioning earlier.
Collect the paycheck.
Blue collar versus white collar, and
right.
So
nothing bad about it.
No, there's nothing bad about any of those. I mean, if you
just
you
my
choose,
personal.
Yeah, I mean, because you can say, and I've heard this argument to what I'm quote unquote the blue collar is, yeah, I'm gonna mine the most profitable, I'm gonna sell it, and then I'm gonna take that and then invest in the crypto that I think is maybe that underdog that just hasn't seen that light of day, and once it does, as you mentioned, there's the catalyst and the X's going up, which is kind of what you want to see. I mean, there's different ways of investing, from just mining and then the purchasing the coin on an exchange, but holding has always usually paid off a lot more than taking your quick paycheck now, because what are you doing with that? You're turning it into fiat, which we're all thinking at some point, no matter what country you're in, is kind of on a roller coaster itself. I mean, if you forex, it's you see it up and down, all the time. So let's hold, but if you're a daily profitability guy, as long as you're making smart decisions after that move,
So I think, the terminology maybe is a little interchangeable. From a daily profitability standpoint, I think if you're mining the most efficient, if you're mining the most profitable coin at the time, and then you switch to something else, and then you switch back later, you're still technically getting the maximized amount of
Right.
whatever coin you are mining.
Right.
So if you take that with the hold mentality, is you've maximized your mining equipment for that period of time. Whatever the coin is, you've maximized it out, and you're still building up your wealth, so
Right.
to speak.
And like I said, that goes back to what practice are you following after you've mined what you can at the highest profitability and then sold that to collect, whether it's BTC or you exchange that into something else, at that point, what are you doing? And if you're holding into, a crypto project that you think is going to, be the next wave or integrate into the next wave, that's, like I said, there's different schools of thought, but that's kind of where 2 out of the 3, if not 3 out of the 3, stand on this side. But yeah.
So my opinion on that, yeah. So there are 2 approaches. One, if you do have the time, I'm very jealous or very envious that you do have the time to mine the most profitable coin, sell that right away to an exchange, and then invest into something that you think will rise from there. I think that's the best way to make money, and like the most profitable way to make money. For me, I have a dual system set up to where I'll be mining the most profitable coin at that time if it's promising. Because if you're mining the most profitable coin and you think, uh-oh, the news coming out about that coin isn't that good, devs aren't putting out any updates, that coin's going to go back down. And then if you hold that coin over the length of time from that point in time, you end up with less money and it's less profitable. As opposed to where if you do the speculative coin, which I have 17 cards doing speculative coin mining, where I'm just mining the coins that I think are going to substantially increase in price. We can look at the 2 timelines of this guy mined the most profitable coin, and later on it's worth a little bit less, to where I mined so much of this coin that isn't on an exchange or is on an exchange but not the most profitable. Maybe it's like in the top 20, but it like times 2 or times 3, who's the real winner there?
Right. Yep.
The real winner is the 3rd guy that has the time, that mined this coin that was most profitable and then ended up buying my coin at much lower prices. That's the real winner. But I wish I had that time.
That's a very good point.
But like you say, you can set yourself up to where you're doing both, and allowing yourself to be kind of your own test, your own test, as is my daily profitability, and maybe you are wanting to take those fractions of ETH or fractions of BTC and just kind of hold those, if you will, because you believe that's gonna 2x or 5x, in the long term. We all make those moves, buying stocks and everything. We think that, we're going to make a call. We believe in the project. We think it can 2x, and we're happy if it does that. And then you've got the kind of the more riskier ones that you think are going to just explode, and you give it 3 to 5 years to allow it time to do that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's important if everybody kind of pumps the brakes a little bit on what everything is doing right at this time, because there's always going to be the fear that sets in that says, oh my gosh, is this the end of anything that you get into? And
right,
that's where that research comes in. Did you think that this was a long-term transition in kind of the way we look at things? Well, if you did, then keep holding. Keep doing what you're doing. If you thought it was going away, then okay, sell me your GPUs, so that I can
on the cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
On the cheap.
Yeah, I have clients that think both ways right now. So right now I do rig building locally for a couple clients. I don't actively advertise, so as of right now it's just family, friends, and close connections like that. But basically they have me set up cryptocurrency rigs for them, and they're like, hey, I want X amount out of it every month, and I tell them, well, this is the market goes up and down. You might have to hold for a couple of months because the market's going through a dip, and then you know, we'll sell it at the end of the 2 months, and like you'll have your paycheck. I think that's a really weird way to do it. Like we already spoke about, you know,
No,
just
intuitive.
like the blue collar versus white collar. But I guess they're just trying to think of ROI instead of long-term investment. But my reward out of it is I get about 20 to 25% of the cryptocurrency mining rigs profits. And yeah, I just take those coins and I hold, and yeah, I keep my bags filled. And like once the moon happens, then to be feeling good.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
Excellent.
Well, I don't want to keep you on all day. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you answering all of our questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we get off here, before we end the stream?
Keep mining, keep holding if you already have a cryptocurrency rig. Actually, no, if you stop mining, the network hash goes down and I make money. Sell all your rigs right away. Sell all your rigs right away. No, but thank you guys so much for having me. If you guys ever do this again, it's a very pleasurable experience for myself. I'd be more than happy to come back on again, talk a little bit more, and then I know this time I was busy with a couple of things regarding the stuff going on through the week. Right now, I do work a job through the week, so I didn't get to advertise this stream as much, but next time I can definitely join in with you guys and get the word out a lot more. I am the director of marketing for AIOMiner, so I can go in and go into all the venues that I have been to, tell them about the stream, and we can get a good amount of people on here.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
That sounds great, and we'd love to talk to you again. It's been very pleasurable. Thank you.
Thank you. Same here. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Aaron. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
All right.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you, guys.